Hi guys, so for this video I'm going to use circular needles in size 6 millimeters and Caron yarn in size 4 medium. So I'm just going to leave like a long tail, then I'll make a slip knot, and then I will chain 70. Continue casting on until we have 70 stitches. So now that we cast it on 70 stitches, we'll make sure that our stitches are not twisted. And then for row 1, we will knit 1, then purl 1. Knit 1, purl 1. Knit 1, purl 1. Knit 1, then purl 1. So we'll continue knitting 1 and purling 1 throughout row 1. Now for row 2, again we'll knit 1 and purl 1. But now it will be easier for us to know which stitches to knit and which stitches to purl. So yeah, we'll start by knitting 1, then purling 1. Knit 1, then purl 1. Knit 1, then purl 1. Knit 1, purl 1. So we'll continue knitting 1 and purling 1 throughout row 2. Knit 1 and purl 1. So we repeat row 2 until our work reaches around 18 inches. Basically we just have to knit 1 and purl 1. And now to finish off, we will drop the purled stitch, then we'll knit the knitted stitch. Drop the purled stitch, 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 then knit the knitted stitch. So basically we'll repeat this throughout this row. We will drop every purled stitch and we will knit the knitted stitch. can see now we only have the knitted stitches left on our needles. Now we'll start to finish off this last row. So I'll knit this first stitch, then I'll knit the second stitch. Now insert this left needle through the second stitch, then pass it over the first stitch. Be careful how you finish off this particular project, because you don't want the stitches to be too tight. Now I'll knit the next stitch, then I insert my left needle through this first stitch and pass it over the second stitch. Knit the next stitch, insert the needle through this first stitch and pass it over the second stitch. Knit the next stitch, insert the needle through this first stitch and pass it over the second stitch. Knit the next stitch, insert a needle through his second stitch and pass it over the first stitch. Knit the next stitch, insert the left needle through his second stitch and pass it over the first stitch. Knit the next stitch, insert a needle through his second stitch and pass it over the first stitch. So we repeat this until we only have one stitch on our needles. So now that we have only one stitch on our needles, I will just chain one for now. I'll cut this yarn. Then with a yarn needle, I'll just join these two ends. Just gonna pull on these stitches like this. I actually forgot all about this pattern, but when my oldest sister visited, she asked me to make her something like this, and I actually forgot all about it. She was like, you know, Mom used to make this for us when we were little. I couldn't remember it. I still can't remember it, but I guess Mom used to make that when I was very little. I personally don't like this scarf, but my sister, she loved it. So I was like, yeah, I think I should make it. Maybe somebody else will like it just as much as she does. So this was the idea of my oldest sister, basically her memory of what Mom used to make us when we were little. Well, she was trying to explain to me how this goes, and she's like, you can make it just like you make a sock, you know. It didn't make sense. Then I had to call Mom, and she told me what to do. I tried to make one with thicker needles, and well, it looked a bit different, but after I was finished with it, these stitches, they looked huge. I think this one looks better because I used needles in a smaller size, like the perfect size for this yarn. I'm gonna be careful of this. Okay, so our scarf measures around 50 inches. The reason I really care about this scarf is that, you know, it kind of like with the bottom and the top, after you finish with it, you know, the bottom and the top look different. See, this was a part where we actually, you know, casted on the stitches, and this is the finished part. So I try to use different methods, and it never comes out as neat as I want it. Now you can actually wear this as a scarf, or if you want, I guess you can try and, you know, just join these two sides together and make it into an infinity scarf. By all means, if you want, you can make it longer. I actually wanted this scarf to be much longer, and I thought it's going to be long, but a long time ago, maybe like 2 years ago, I actually made this scarf, but I used a much thicker needle. It was, the yarn was in the same size, but the needles, I think they were in size 8. So after I finished it, you know, the stitches looked much bigger and they stretched out so much, you know. What I did with the second scarf I made using this pattern, I actually could not handle these, I couldn't handle this mess here. So I actually just went and I just made a knot, like, you know, like this. Now you might not like it this way, but I think it still looks much better than when it's, you know, separate. Now you can do the same thing on this side, but the thing is, this scarf is not as long as I want it to be. But you can still, you know, just tie one side, and you can just, you know, wrap it around your neck and just tie it like this, you know, and just make it like a soft, like a neck warmer, you know. So it's totally up to you how you do it. Yeah, if I make this again, I will probably turn it into infinity scarf, you know, just join these two sides together, or I will try to make it much longer. I mean, not too long, of course, but maybe at least 10 inches longer. But you get the idea, you know, how this looks and stuff. I actually like it, you know. It is very stretchy. See? Like a lace. So yeah, guys, that is all for today, and thank you so much for watching.